in those feet to change direction, very shifty, and put up a lot of big yards and big games at West Virginia in the Big East Conference. And it's a nice pick. Into the third round, you see him here, game breaker again, with those eyes and vision. Even sense when defenders are moving on, even when he gets down the field. Here again, this is against Miami, taking it into the end zone. I mean, this is a kid that can get the job done in the backfield. I didn't think he maximized his potential this year. Maybe could have thought about going back to the Mountaineers and playing another year for Don Nail, and maybe could have gone a little higher next year. But in the third round, last pick in round 3, nice pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, they have Bettis. Now you have Zereoué as a change of pace.
Right, and you have Troy Edwards, a receiver they picked in the first round. I mean, he was a return man. So with Edwards and Zereoué, there's some scoot, as I like to call it.
And you can't forget Fala. You know, the big guy comes in, so he gets to spell Jerome Bettis. Now you really got yourself a change of pace back. So you've got some real nice diversity in a backfield for Kevin Gilbride, their new coordinator, to work with.
And a year later for a real good athlete and an interesting player in Hines Ward. So they're really trying to push the envelope, which they frankly have to, offensively. And I like some of the guys that they have amassed, even with this last pick in the third round. Michael, Bill Cowher promised you dinner, didn't he?
Yes, and it is dinner time, as late as it may be. And another thing that was promised to us earlier today by Ron Wolf in Green Bay was we'd go corner, and keep fortifying the defensive backfield with as many as 4 picks. So far, 3 for 3. As we fire up the sprint video conferencing one more time, we'll bring in the new coach of the Green Bay Packers, Ray Rhodes. Ray, how many of these guys can come in and compete for, if not a starting spot, as a nickel or a dime back in your defense in '99?
We think all the guys can come in and compete. Right now we have 3 guys that we feel very good about as far as the defensive backs are concerned, and we're hoping that all these guys can come in and compete.
Antoine Edwards, Fred Vinson, and Mike McKenzie, the third-round selection out of Memphis. With Edwards, a guy who started as a safety, then moved to a corner, how much breaking down of his film did you do to feel comfortable that in his, quote, shorter time, he was going to be a good corner in a conference, in a division especially, where you need your corners to be big, physical, going up against the tall receivers?
Well, we had a chance to look at all his film. We went back to his junior year and looked at the film as a junior, also looked at all his senior film and watched him play cornerback, the position we wanted to see him at, and he did a real good job as far as covering guys, and he's a big physical receiver that runs well and does a great job.
Ray, compared draft day '99, although you're halfway through with day 2 tomorrow, to your drafts in Philadelphia. Can you give me one word to describe the difference in the 2 war rooms?
Well, again, I think both war rooms are very similar, but you know, this has been a unique experience working with Ron Wolf. Ron has done a great job as far as preparing for the draft, making sure that the guys that we evaluated and looked at were the guys that we went after, and we did a real good job of doing that.
You know the neighborhood that you're in. You know the legacy of the place where you are. Mike Holmgren was one of the few coaches who could walk in and be successful in Green Bay, and we don't need to talk about the Lombardi days. If you're watching this show, you know what that was all about. Because you've been a head coach and been to the playoffs twice with 2 10-win seasons, and you know the fabric of Green Bay different from any other NFL city, do you feel that it will be easier for you to step into Mike Holmgren's seat behind the desk compared to another person who may have been thrust with that task upon their shoulders?
Well, I don't think it's going to be easy for anybody to step into Mike Holmgren's shoes. Mike did a tremendous job here. He took this team to a Super Bowl, and, you know, again, you can't say enough good things about Mike Holmgren. But we do feel good about the opportunity here and about winning here, and we're just going to continue to do those things, and hopefully this draft will help us out.
And a quick reminder to everyone, day 2 is important for coaches, isn't it?
It sure is very important for coaches, and we'll get back to work as soon as I leave here and start looking at the guys for tomorrow.
Good. We just wanted a pep talk to come back tomorrow morning for day 2 of the draft. Ray, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Ray Rhodes, the new coach of the Green Bay Packers. We'll put a big bow on the 9.5 hours that was day 1 of the draft. Come right back to New York after this.
We have in our possession a chip that could revolutionize medicine as we know it. By performing 100 billion operations a second, this chip could help us heal across continents. We could touch more lives and give us more time to cherish life's true rewards. But then we thought, hey, let's use it for games.
3DFX PC accelerators. So powerful, it's kind of ridiculous.
Some people call it retirement planning. I think of this as future construction. year by year, block by block, until...
It's our dream house.
Beautiful. But I was hoping we could afford to travel. This plan can help make it happen. We can even make sure you've got worry-free income for life.
AXA, dynamic vision, equitable, a trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the Global AXA Group.
What sets some people apart gives them the confidence to succeed on their own terms. It's no secret, it's the Wall Street Journal. Now you can have that confidence delivered for 13 weeks at just $36.75, just 57 cents a day. That's a 25% savings off our regular rate, which makes now a great time to try this limited time offer.
Call now, 800-248-1300. That's 800-248-1300 for the Wall Street Journal.
Top players on the ladies tour tee it up in Georgia at the Chick-fil-A Championship. Begins Friday at 1 on ESPN2.
We don't get many shots up there. We get one shot, we're on the ice. You gotta practice good. Let's go! Nice, nice. Breathe, boys, breathe. Hey, what if I was a fan? What are you gonna do? Very nice, very nice. Now do it again.
We'd like to thank the good folks at the Disney Institute in Orlando because a couple of weeks ago, we brought all 5 of the quarterbacks who went in the top 12 picks. They had a great time down there. They got to know each other a little bit. I was down there for the photo shoot that you saw here for the draft and for the magazine. And they made what could have been an arduous day and a half very much fun. And the kids really enjoyed it. They all thanked us, so we thank the folks at Disney Institute. Joining us now is the coach of the NFC champion Atlanta Falcons to our Sprint video conference is Dan Reeves. And Coach, first of all, thanks for joining. It does have still a nice ring, huh? NFC champion Atlanta Falcons. How do you sum up your day? Are you happy with what you did picking solo? Do you feel you got players like Kearney that maybe fell to you a little farther than you might have thought when you laid your board out?
Well, I tell you, it's been a long day. First of all, when you pick late like this, it seems like the first round lasts all day long. And, you know, Kearney was a good pick for us. Addresses one of the needs that we might have as far as defensive line. They're always so tough to find, and we feel like he's got a great upside. Big, tall guy that, you know, can get bigger. So that was a good pick for us.
Dan, did you take a page out of the Bobby Beathard scrapbook? I mean, you traded next year's #1 for a pick in the middle of the second round in Reggie Kelly at tight end. What do you see in Kelly that would make you make a move like this?
Well, first of all, when we were talking about, you know, Pat Kearney in the first round, we were talking, you know, about Reggie Kelly at the same time. Felt like he was a tight end that brings great blocking to that position. And it's hard to find. Just like defensive ends are hard to find, it's hard to find those blocking tight ends. We felt like he had the qualities that we look for in a pick in the first round. And if we are successful and have the year that we hope to have, you know, in the draft next year, if we're picking low, this would be a good pick for us. Now, if we have a bad year, fall on our face, we'll be sitting there regretting that we've made this, you know, choice and gave up our first-round pick.
Well, speaking of next year, I mean, you snuck up on people for a little bit, although by the middle of the season, everybody knew the Falcons were for real and just couldn't do much about it. But, you know, next year, first-place schedule, great expectations, both at home and everybody who plays you wants to knock off the champs. Is that a different sort of speech and a different sort of preparation that you'll have to explain to the players?
Well, it's certainly a lot more fun than the other way. I think it's nice to be the team that people are shooting for to try to knock off. It's a great position to be in, and I think our players earned the right to be there. They really played hard. You know, when you look at being 14-2 in this league is an awful good accomplishment, and our players really deserved it. They worked hard. And I think that's the thing, Boomer, I'm proud of, is the work ethic of this football team. You know, our players are working really hard now in the off-season, and, you know, if we can bring in some quality people like Kearney and like Kelly and Jeff Polk, who we, you know, picked in our third pick, we think these guys can come in and make us a better football team.
People do want to know this. I mean, Tony Martin, you had, was a big contributor to you. He's gone away to Miami, and with Eugene Robinson, where does he stand with you now? I know you've had the mini camp recently.
Well, Eugene, of course, we have worked it out where he's here now working in the off-season program, which I thought was important. I thought he started late last year and started playing well, you know, more toward the middle of the season. and it was because he wasn't here for the off-season program. I felt like if he was going to be with us, he needed to be here. He's made that